Hey everybody, I'm John Simmons. This is Philosophy for Where We Find Ourselves, May 19th, 2020. Today I want to talk about something that I have mentioned in passing in other videos. It's a phrase that my dad told me and has absolutely locked in the back of my head and never really let go of me. It's the idea that we should take what we do seriously, but never take ourselves too seriously while doing it. Now, my father has modeled this for me. He was a university professor, a widely recognized and renowned visual artist, and in the middle of his career, in his 40s, my sister got diagnosed with cancer. She was 3 years old. And in the middle of all of this trauma, my father's university actually declared financial exigency and cut the art department, and therefore my father, who was tenured, lost his position. What did he do? Rather than saying, I'm too important, I'm too good, I can't be put in these sorts of positions, he instead said, all right, how do I continue to love excellence and truth and goodness by caring for my family? He knew how to paint, so he applied that to a different mode and started working construction, painting houses and gas stations and convenience stores and fast food restaurants. Having been formerly a tenured professor, now to be in a space where he's having to say yes sir and no sir to the job foreman who didn't even graduate from high school. You might think, well, that would be a real ego kick. But for my father, it wasn't. Because it was never about his being important because he did some important thing. It was about the importance of doing what he does and doing it well, and in the process, caring about those he loves. Rather than being frustrated and angry and bitter, he instead invited me to go learn that trade with him. So at 15, 16, 17 years old, I was on those job sites with my father. And as a result, he and I have an enormously close relationship. I respect my dad for being a university professor. He eventually got that position back after a long time and retired just last year as a professor of art at his university. But I learned more from my father while going to those job sites and seeing him not think that his ego was threatened because someone was telling him how to do the job. As a professor, one of the great temptations for academics is that we tend to think because we have PhDs, we've got all these letters after our names, that we get to walk around as somehow more important or that our voice is more significant than the voice of others. That is a mistaken approach. Socrates was right when he said that the philosopher is wise when she recognizes that she doesn't have it all figured out. I was once told by a faculty review committee that I lacked the appropriate gravitas in the classroom because I wasn't professorial enough. It didn't matter that I had published a bunch of books. It didn't matter that I had engaged in a variety of professional debates or that I had been president of different professional societies. What mattered was that I somehow required my students to call me doctor and that I took myself more seriously as a professor. So what did I do when they told me I didn't have enough gravitas, enough seriousness? I went and bought a shirt that said Gravitas and started wearing it to my class. Problem solved. What I'm trying to do is pull the curtain back on our own self-pretension. Behind me, you can see my different degrees. I've got a variety of advanced degrees from a variety of distinguished institutions, but none of that makes me better. My father impressed me most, not when he was in the college classroom, not when he was winning Best of Show awards for his visual art, but when he was on the job site and didn't think that it made him less of a person when he had to say yes sir to someone telling him to repaint a wall. What hopefully makes me worth my students' time is not that I've got all the degrees, but that I'm inviting them not to become someone who thinks they're better when they get the degrees of their own. Let's move forward with excellence, but avoid the pretentiousness that is so tempting to those who feel like the world owes them respect because of what they've done. And instead, recognize people worthy of respect are those who say it's not about what I've done, it's about what I'm helping others to do. I'll see you tomorrow, unless a piano falls on our heads.